restrictions imposed on the hospitality industry run the risk of completely decimating many of the country's independent, family-run venues. Many larger chains are also struggling, but let us not forget those smaller establishments, those pillars of local community, many of which were already a dying breed before the coronavirus pandemic. One such venue has belonged to my family for nearly 3 decades. It's an eccentric, tiny wine bar where I waddled around when I was a toddler. I worked there myself as soon as I was old enough, and even when I return home now, the regulars often nostalgically profess how they've known me since I was this high. Our family bar is called Pirrie's, and its origins as a bar are uncertain, but parts of it have been estimated to be over 400 years old, with oak beams and a wattle and daub construction. Our bar is something of a local institution and is fondly referred to as the best little bar in town. Being an independent bar, it can respond quickly to trends, and our real ales are in the Good Beer Guide, and we were recently told by an exile from Limerick our Guinness was the best outside of Ireland. Sadly, however, as of today, all that has been achieved is in danger of unravelling due to these ridiculous government guidelines. When the lockdown was first imposed, we initially thought we were looking at 2 to 3 weeks of closure, so we prepared to batten down the hatches. It became apparent very quickly this was going to go on for a long time. We spent thousands of pounds buying PPE and adapting the bar to adhere to social distancing guidelines, but the capacity has been reduced from 120 people to under 40. We've barely been able to survive, but thanks to the loyal customer base, we have been able to. Out of the blue came the nonsensical decision to restrict opening hours, and now, no household indoor meeting at all. The £1,000 grant being offered is barely enough to pay the electricity bill for most venues. One must ask where the logic is in all this. Does COVID-19 suddenly become non-infectious when punters are enjoying a meal with their pint? The problem is that those behind the decision-making process, while they may be academically gifted, few of them will have worked at the coalface and are clueless as to how the hospitality industry runs on a day-to-day basis. My family are, as you can imagine, completely distraught about the situation we now find ourselves in. My father met my mother through this bar, as did my sister and her husband. It's a part of our family's DNA, and it's our livelihood, and the risk now is that it could all come crashing down. Come what may, my family are determined we will survive, but I fear that many won't, and many talented young people will be dumped on the scrap heap as a consequence. Our town centres and social activity in general will be decimated, and the financial implications will be on the shoulders of future generations for years to come.